Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, tonight we have for you the World Bantamweight Champion, straight from the BKFC Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, Keith the Rockstar Richardson. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, brother? Glad to be here, man.
Yeah, welcome to the show. You are in fight mode right now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's coming up real soon.
Yeah, man. In fact, we are 1 week away, June 21st, in Hollywood, Hollywood, Florida, will be the fight, and you're going up against a pretty tough guy. But we were talking before the show that you don't think he's ready.
Honestly, the way that I've been fighting, the way that I've been feeling, and the hard work that I put in, you're literally gonna have to kill me to pry that out of my hands, and I don't think he's got that commitment level to this. Yeah.
Well, and that carries a lot of significant weight in your words, right? Because you're a man of action. You might be a bare knuckle fighter, but your first accolades come from the greatest goddamn gun club in the planet, and that's the United States Marine Corps.
Yes, sir. Gunfighter to MMA fighter to bare knuckle fighter.
Yeah, man. Tell us a little bit about your military career. What got you into it? Where did you serve? What kind of action did you get yourself into?
I got myself into all kinds of trouble when I was in. I was straight. I joined pretty much straight out of high school. I turned down a wrestling scholarship to go to the Marine Corps. I was initially with Security Forces, where I went to Bahrain. We did 2 months off the coast of Basra while we were there. And then after that, when I got shipped out to the fleet, I went 3rd Battalion, 8th Marines, where I saw some real heavy combat with Weapons Company out in Fallujah and Ramadi. Yeah. And that was right when it was kicking, I think, 04, 06 time frame where
good days.
There were a lot of guys that wanted to play with you.
Yeah. I like to think of that time period of 2004, 2005, the real war, because that's what it really felt like. The ROEs were really lax. Just go out and kill the enemy. You got to see it, front and center in Fallujah. I fought in support of Operation Phantom Fury on the Jaffa Sucker Bridge right there on the Euphrates River, and supporting a lot of the efforts in Fallujah itself, and that was a lot of fun, man. That was exhilarating. And then anything after 2006 pretty much was just politics and bullshit.
Yeah. We definitely had a lot of fun when we were in Ramadi as far as the gunfights, and there were still a shit ton of IEDs out there. When we moved into Fallujah, it wasn't. We were mostly doing MSR security, so it was a lot of IEDs. Not as many gunfights, unfortunately, because we moved in right after the push. Which was a good thing, because if we would have been ripping and learning the AO during the Battle of Fallujah, casualties would have been way higher.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
If they didn't really if they didn't wind up extending those guys, which I felt bad for them. Yeah. But we would have gotten hammered while we were trying to learn the AO.
Yeah. When that was an interesting time period. I got into country. I was on the Advon team in September 2004. We got into the Triangle of Death, and 2-2 was operating that AO. And they were getting ripped out to move in to support the efforts of that push into Fallujah. And they've been in country for an extended period of time already. They got extended further to offset and support. But to work with them and be on the ground and seeing, from an Advon perspective, we train for a lot of different things, but now you're on the ground, you're looking at the environment, you're understanding the TTPs that are, being employed by, the current effort and, what the enemy's doing. And you're like, shit, that was nothing about what we were training for. And we have to come up with some shit on the fly here, because all of our movements, that shit ain't going to work on a goddamn canal road.
Hell no. Just a bunch of improvise, adapt, and overcome.
That's it. The Marine Corps way of life, man. So, with that time, you spent 2002 to 2007. Now the real question is, Are you a parasailing Marine or
I'm a real Marine,
okay,
of course.
Good.
Of course.
Good. I don't even want to go into the naming the other one.
Let's
But so you served from 2002 to 2007. What'd you do after the Marine Corps before you got into the knuckle fighting?
What did I do in the Marine Corps?
Or after?
Oh, after. When I first got out, I struggled. Found I was planning on going into law enforcement, but didn't work out, and like I just found like a dead end job, and like and I was really struggling. And then I immediately found MMA.
Yeah.
Like, and that was huge for me. Like, because it became my therapy. Like, I had a lot of issues at the time. And like, MMA just like, and like, so once I started that, like, that was the plan. Like, that was pretty much all I did. Like, and then I've been fighting professionally ever since. Did a little side work as a bounty hunter, bail bondsman for a period of time. Like, just so I could
give me some tea on that one. Give me some juice.
I was just missing like kicking indoors and stuff like that. Like, so like.
Are we talking like dog the bounty hunter style? Like were you working with dudes with like some big ass mullets and shit?
Actually,
because it strikes me that whole community is just like Florida people.
Actually, the guy that I was working with was a good friend of mine. He was actually a preacher.
Yeah.
Like, but like he was about that life. He was actually a jiu-jitsu black belt too, though.
Nice.
But yeah, we'd have to kick in some doors and like grab some people from under beds and stuff like that. Like, it was a fun time. Definitely got my adrenaline flowing again. Like that's the thing people don't like aren't prepared for. Like, like when everything goes well, like gunfights are fucking fun.
Yeah. It's
an adrenaline rush, and you get addicted real quick.
I think and that's a good point, right? You went into bounty work, right? I did bouncing at a biker bar.
Yeah,
right?
that's.
But to your point, like I needed to replace what was no longer there, and that was that that heightened state of awareness, right? Or just operating at that next level above just sedentary lifestyle.
Yeah, once you get that warrior energy into you, like it doesn't leave. Like you have to find like a positive outlet for it, where it can easily destroy you. Like we've all seen like plenty of our friends. So like. Like find a good outlet for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And mine just happened to be violence.
Like controlled violence controlled violence gets shit done.
It does. And I had off. I bounced for 7 years doing that stuff. And
I did some bouncing too a little bit. Like the only thing about me is I'm not like I'm not a huge dude. So like luckily like. When I was doing it, like I had a reputation, like like I'd been known as a fighter in the area and stuff like that. But like for a bouncer, like you usually want somebody that's more of a visual deterrent.
Yeah.
Like like you don't necessarily have to be able to handle yourself, like like because you don't want the fight in the bar.
Right.
But it was always pretty fun, like especially like you get guys that'll get in your face and look down at you.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, all right, that's the last time you're gonna be looking down upon me. I'm 6'10" when I'm standing over top of you and you're on your back.
Right. And then what's your height now?
5'6".
5'6". Right. Absolutely. But hey, man, it's small. Like what I've come to understand about Marines is there's only two types, right? There's Rottweilers and then there's Dobermans, right? Yeah. You're probably more in that Doberman category, much like myself. I'm leaner and taller. I wish I was a little bit wider, but I'm old now. But so you're dabbling at this point, right, with MMA, right? You're just getting into it. You're finding that it's that singular point of focus is really, helping you, calm that overactive mind, and you're not getting into alcohol and drugs like what would be probably the alternative. Right.
Like, and it wasn't until I found MMA, I was, especially for me, like there was no transition period.
Yeah.
Because I extended to finish my last tour.
Yeah.
So like I was out of Ramadi, and then maybe a month and a half, I was into the civilian world, which was just
right
fucking shocking. I just remember, especially when you're you're so used to running on hate, adrenaline, and discontent. I just remember some guy pulled me freaking cut me off in traffic, but then got stopped, so we're right in front of each other, and he had his window open. I was like, I will fucking pluck out your eyes and skull fuck you to death. The guy rolled up his windows, pulled onto the side of the road just to get away from me, and I was just like, yeah, I might have some issues.
Yeah. It took me probably 3-4 years, post deployment to drive the right way on the road.
Oh yeah.
Right. I was a vehicle commander, and I had poor luck with good drivers. And the tactic, right? You drive in the center of the road, yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
Not my driver. My driver liked to drive on the right side of the road. I was like, are you trying to kill me, bro?
Yeah, I think all told, I've been hit by probably about 30 plus IEDs, on or near my truck, between Fallujah and Ramadi. I'm still to this day, trash on the road freaks me the fuck out. If there's nobody around, I'm swerving. Taking it center over top, I still get that pucker effect where just
yeah, is it today? Yeah, but to your point though, it's coming from a high intensity environment like that, right? And then coming back into again that sedentary lifestyle of the American, it's a hard transition, and without that sense of purpose, that is keeps these motivated individuals kind of zeroed in on a task. Yeah. Shit gets sideways real quick, man, and we talk a lot about it on the show because it's important that we understand that, and we find that singular point of focus, right? Be it MMA, be it precision shooting, be it painting, whatever it is, that one thing that you can put your focus on, and for the next hour, 3 hours. You're like, I could push the world out of my head and be completely focused on this thing right now and become the best at it. Yeah. That is something that is of great benefit and help.
Yeah, you definitely need something that challenges you, and something that you believe in. That was one of the big things that I missed. When I was in the Marine Corps, I never thought what I would I knew what I was doing, had purpose and intent, and I was always proud to put on my uniform, so going from where every what you do matters, to feeling nothing that you do matters, that's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people, unless they find something that challenges them and something that they believe in, something that they're pushing for a goal.
Yeah. So. Yeah, man. I often think back to that 17-year-old Tim that as he's signing his name on that enlistment paper, and I look at where I am at today, and all the benefits that the Marine Corps have given me, right? And I was only I wasn't a career guy. I didn't do 2, 3, 4 enlistments. I did active duty. I did reserves, and I extended. Right, had a period of time. But all of those, that influence in that time period that I was with the Marine Corps had such a resounding impact on my life. And here I am at 40, going on 46 years old. I don't think it's a part of who I am as a person, but there's so much a part of Tim that has learned from that environment that, man, like, it was probably the greatest decision I've ever made in my life was getting into that program, and becoming a Marine and claiming that title.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like I've leading Marines in combat will be I know that leading Marines in combat will be probably the greatest thing that I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
But for me, like, one of the important things that help me process, recover, and like was the fact that like I didn't accept the fact, like, I still want to try to do greater things and stuff like that. Like, I think because if you just if you immediately I kind of use the term where it'll keep you from getting stuck in the sand.
Yeah.
Where a lot of guys that's all they focus on is what happened out there, what they did, and where they just they haven't moved on.
Yeah.
Like if you're out and you're back in the civilian world, all right, find something else. It's probably never going to be at the level of what we were doing out there. Whether you hate it or love it, what we were doing, mattered. It had purpose. At the very least, me out there fighting, I was, protecting the guys to the left and the right, which, that's all that really mattered to me at that point. We're not politicians out there. We're freaking,
right.
We're brothers. And I've accomplished some great things since, but it still pales into comparison to that. But the fact that I've never accepted that is what keeps me driving. What's me get it's what I get up for in the morning.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, man. And and I think of it this way, when you talk to people that have never been in the military or put on a uniform to serve or put themselves in the position for others, right? Putting others before self. They don't really get that understanding, right? Because it's like, well, did you go to college? Did you get a master's degree? Did you do this? Did you do that? Blah 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 blah. I'm like, okay, those are all achievements, sure, absolutely. Is it something that that we should be holding on to? That we're in a combat environment? Well, for people like us, yes, right. That's the high watermark in terms of the. I don't know what it's like in the Army. I don't know what it's like in the Navy or other parts of the military. And frankly, I don't care. The Marine Corps is the only thing that's important to me. And the most important thing in the world is, being an NCO and having that ability to lead Marines into combat situations, onto targets, and to destroy the enemy with overwhelming firepower and maneuver, right? That is the objective, right? And until you have been in that position, I don't really care what anybody's opinion are on saying, well, that's a pretty myopic view of life if that's your high watermark. Well, you've never done that, so
how many people in this world could say they ran towards gunfire?
Right, absolutely.
That is
But frankly, we have people in this country that will not stand up and watch. Will not stand up for their neighbor, left or right. No. Right. Watch them get their ass pummeled in the street while they're filming it on their little device and pushing it onto their social media pages. That is the world that we live in. Right. I don't accept that. Right. I think that there are men and women of the caliber like us that need to stand up and say, hey, we're tired of all this, guys. Yeah. We've allowed this to happen for a while. Let's stand up and have a different conversation. But I think that goes into a whole nother realm of conversation. But I think again, to your point, the having that ability, that experience to lead Marines in combat as an NCO, God, that is something that few have attained, and nobody can take away.
Yeah, I've definitely, it's meant so much to me with that, throughout the course of my life. I know when tested what I can overcome, what I can adapt to. it's one of the reasons why I feel like I'm unbreakable.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Well, let's talk about that. You're 4-0 in the BKFC, man. That's pretty impressive as a bantamweight.
Yeah, like, last year was like one of the greatest. Honestly, like I don't know too many people that like can claim like in combat sports that can claim a year like I had last year.
Yeah.
Especially so late in their careers, as people constantly remind me. But like I went from debut to champ in 10 months. Like, I fought 4 times in bare knuckle, which is like 4 times in under a year is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Like in itself, and then just the fights that I had, and like the rise was.
There were some pretty decisive fights, man. Like you're going in there just clobbering.
Yeah, a lot of first, second round knockouts. Like they don't pay me by the hour; they don't pay me by the punch.
Right. Just the sheer amount of violence that you can.
Plus, after the first one, like I took enough damage in the first fight to to learn my lesson.
So why you got jiu-jitsu background and the MMA stuff. Why choosing bare knuckle over UFC? I mean, clearly you got the background. You could do UFC.
It was like that's like one of the crazy things that most people like are like still trying to figure out, like, because like my whole MMA career I was known as a submission fighter.
Yeah.
Now I'm the bare knuckle boxing world champ. Like that's something that you gotta kind of ask the UFC about, because like I think a little like age came into play.
Sure.
Like especially because like I think because if you look at the guys that I was fighting, like I haven't lost a fight since 2018.
Wow.
My last.
How many fights since 2018?
What?
How many fights since 2018?
I don't know, good deal. Like I've been on a roll. Like and like my last MMA fight was against Hunter Azure.
Yeah.
Like submitted him in the second round, and like right immediately they turned around and put him on the Ultimate Fighter show. Like and he was like one of the top picks on the show. So I just like I wasn't getting the love from the big organizations. I had gotten signed by PFL, but I never even got to fight for him.
Yeah.
Because the guy I was supposed to fight didn't want to fight me.
Really?
No, they made him get a different opponent, because I was going to be a fill-in for the tournament.
Yeah.
Like the $1 million tournament, and he wound up winning the whole tournament too.
Really? Well, did he not want to fight you because you would have been an obstacle, or?
Yeah, like absolutely.
Really?
Because I was going to be a replacement, so like I wasn't in the initial tournament, but like if I would have, because it was pretty open at that point. All I had to do was get a finish, and I would have made the playoffs. But he did not that one. Get another opponent.
Yeah, Jesus.
So like it's smart on his part. He wound up winning the whole damn thing.
Huh.
Yeah, pissed me off.
Yeah, right.
But so like I was just getting frustrated. Like I couldn't get the fights I needed. None of the big organizations were signing me, and then like bare knuckle had been like I'd been in talks with them before, and like once I started training and coaching Taylor and BKFC, I saw the product that they were putting out.
Yeah.
And like how big this organization was going to grow. So I was like, all right, yeah, let's get this shot. Like these guys are a different breed. So like I don't expect too many of them to back out and not not take the fight and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's, especially because there was I think there was a lot of opportunity in the division, where if I came in guns a-blazing, I'd work my way up the division quickly, and I could have got it was very intentional, the rise. Like it wasn't something that surprised me. It was like, all right, I'll take this fight, and as soon as that one's done, let's do it again. Like I want to get this as quick as possible while I still got some juice in this old body.
There you go. So working with Dave Feldman, right? He's the founder, of BKFC. He also puts all the fight cards together, right? So walk me through that first fight. Feldman is like, all right, I've got this little Marine that is fiery. He's ready to go. How did the pairing of your first fight go? What was that experience like?
Actually, it was more put on. Like that fight was one of my friends, Andy Hall, that works for BKFC. He's one of the guys in charge of fighter relations.
Yeah.
Like he used to run a promotion that I was the champ for.
Andy's a good dude.
Yeah. So me and him been like good friends over the years. I was one of his former champs, and he had been trying to match me and Scoggins. Like me and Scoggins had been booked for a couple of different fight cards on MMA cards. So it was a fight that he'd been trying to make happen. So he took it he was the one that took it to Feldman, and it's this one. He's like, this is one of the biggest fights in the South. He's like, you got this is going to be your first card in South Carolina. He's like, if you want a big card, that's gonna sell well and just deliver. He's like make this fight happen.
Yeah.
So Feldman, he's the man. He puts his money where his mouth is. Recognized it and decided to put the fight on.
Yeah. Now, what? Listen, probably I would say most of them. What's the right way of putting this? I would venture to say a lot of people have never been punched in the mouth. What's it like getting punched in the mouth bare knuckled for money?
It's the dumbest way to make a living I could possibly think of. And it's funny because I always say that because that's literally one of the last thoughts that I have before I make the walk to the ring or the cage.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm about to fight another grown man in my underwear for money in front of thousands of people. I'm like, this is the dumbest way to make a fucking living that I could possibly think of.
Sure.
And then they're like, red corner. I'm like, all right. I'm like, let's fucking go.
There you go.
Especially freaking a bare knuckle fight is definitely different though.
It is.
In the intensity, especially the way that it's designed, smaller ring, the rounds are quicker. So you got to really get after it. Starting off right in the center, so you don't even have to.
Yeah.
Walk each other down right off the bat. And everything hurts in bare knuckle. Everything.
Yeah.
It hurts to get hit, hurts to hit. It's the ultimate test to see who's got the bigger dog in them.
Yeah. It really is. It is fascinating.
When me and Scoggins got in there, it was definitely a dog fight, and and especially at that time, what I was going through personally, it was the exact fight I needed.
Yeah. And you overcame it, right?
Yeah.
What round did you knock him down in?
No, we we knocked each other down, but it wound up going to a decision.
Yeah.
It was about a week and a half after I lost my father.
Oh wow.
So it was just that was kind of what kept me sane during that process, because I just had to focus. So I was going. Staying at my parents' house to take care of my father, and then going to the gym and just back and forth every day. So that kept me focused, and then just because my dad wouldn't even hear about me fucking pulling out of a fight.
Yeah.
It was you're a healthy dude.
Is your old man former military?
No, his father was and he raised two Marines, so he definitely had the sack for it.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
He shot two of them out.
Yeah.
But it was definitely and then the level of intensity in that fight allowed me to just empty the tanks and just get all the emotion out, and just and then I remember just weeping like a bitch in the back, in the cut room.
How many days afterwards is it what is the pain? You have to have that's a big tolerance, man. Some people get their orbitals broken, nose brokens all the time.
It's definitely rough on the hands a little bit. But we do conditioning that help with that. But like a lot of it is like worse than it, like it's not as bad as it looks, like because a lot of it's superficial, like bruising and cuts and stuff like that. Like they tend to heal up pretty quickly, like, you know, especially because they stitch, like, you know, they stitch you up immediately. Like, you know, there's a stitch room that they have as soon as you get out of the ring. Like, you go in the back, they make you cool down, like settle down, then they start stitching you up immediately. So like you know, like a week or two, like a lot of the swelling and the cuts are, like, you know, pretty healed. Yeah. Like, you know, when you get stitches, like, you know, week and a half, and like, you know, you get the little line. Yeah. But like that fight took a little longer to heal. Like, you know, I had like now my pupils don't even dilate the same.
Oh wow! All right.
Like, so I look like I'm constantly on like shrooms or something like
sure.
that. You know, I got a little got some pretty scars and stuff like that. But yeah, I've been told chicks dig it. So.
Hey man, yeah, that's right. That's right. So, you know, what like? So you got a big fight coming up. You know, next Friday, June 21st, Hollywood, Florida. You know, you're in the cut. You're cutting. You're going through all that. Like, what is your whole routine when you get ready for a fight? Like, you know, you sign the paperwork. What happens next?
Like for me, like I think for most fighters, it changes a lot more. Like, you know, when they're in camp and when they're not. For me, I'm a little bit different. Because I'm pretty much always in fight camp. Like, you know, like I don't take vacation really. I don't like I'm.
This is lifestyle. This
yeah,
is how
like
you live.
you know, like my fight camp workload and my. As a matter of fact, a lot of times it drops a little bit where I'm stepping up the intensity, but the hours that I'm actually training will go down a little bit. You know, because I own a gym. I got you know, I'm constantly training my fighters. You know, plus I'm just like, I don't know what I would even do it myself. Like it kind of scares me a little bit. Like when I'm not like if I just took a bunch of time off, like, but like to me, that's also the reason why I've had such longevity in the sport is because I don't do that. Like at a certain age, you're never going to get back what you lose. So if you don't take time off, you can stay at that level or at least close to, you know, occasionally hit that next level. But so like, you know, I'm in the gym most days like 5 or 6 hours a day. Yeah. Like, you know, I'm in the gym usually 6 days a week, quite often 7, where like, you know, like if I got like a private, like where I'm doing one-on-one, or maybe I'll get like an extra lift in or something like that, where it's just I'm training, but it's like more for like one of the few times where I'm training just for myself, just to do it, or just to relax, or like I'm weird.
Well, I mean, it sounds like you got the best environment to do it. You owning your own gym. You know, you're in there every day, and you're training other people, so you know, it's never turning off, right? It's like I said, it's a lifestyle now at this point. Yeah,
and like, you know, that was like, you know, once again, like talking about what we were talking about earlier, that was one of the biggest things that I missed about, like, you know, being a Marine, being in like, was the brotherhood and stuff like that. And it's a similar environment, like, you know, where like you train together, you bleed together, you sweat together. Type bonds are going to be formed, like, you know, we trauma bonding like a motherfucker. So like, and it's just like, you know, especially because it's just the same type of people, like, you know, and a lot of the same type of people are like, you know, want to do that, like, you know, shared misery. Yeah. Like, you know, and that was one of the big things. Like, so like, you know, when I opened up my gym, like that was a big thing that I wanted, like, you know, to have, is like, you know, that's why like our motto is one team, one family. Like, cause we literally, like, you know, we hang out, we do all kinds of stuff. Like, you know, we have the same kind of mentality where, like, you know, we can say whatever the hell we want to each other. Like, you know, like we just rip on each other constantly. Like, you know, like that completely uninhibited, like, you know, where like we're not walking on eggshells with each
Barracks
other.
conversations.
Yeah, like barracks conversation, like we're just ripping on each other like relentlessly,
I fucking miss that shit.
That is the honestly more than anything that keeps me sane. If you're not able to have that kind of relationship, then in my opinion, you don't really truly have friends.
True.
You don't truly love somebody unless you can just say the meanest, awfulest shit to each other.
Right. If you can't say that to the closest 5 people that you know and treat them lovingly like shit.
Yeah.
In a jovial way, then it isn't really a friendship. I get you on that.
Well, I'm glad that now I've got a room full of people that I can do that with.
It's that's what I truly miss about those barracks conversations is out here you have to be so careful of the things that you say.
We didn't care about race, color, creed. We were family, we're brothers. We're all green.
Right. We're all
but then we just rip on any little differences that we had, and it was great.
Yeah, it truly was, man. It was something,
Mm-hmm. I'm eventually gonna get canceled for it, but you will.
So do you get the opportunity after fights to get behind a microphone and talk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I need to probably take better advantage of it. Although generally, usually I'm thinking my service brothers and stuff like that. But because I've never been a big call out guy, and that's kind of one of the things that my dad was always big on, be humble or somebody's gonna humble your ass, especially in this sport. This sport will humble you any chance it gets. There's nothing more humbling than getting your ass kicked in front of thousands of fucking people.
I admire you because I would never do that. No, my not to say my ego's is
fragile,
is
but
fragile,
it's a different because here's the thing, you're gonna make plenty of fucking highlights, but you're also gonna make some highlights.
Yeah.
I remember I was at a UFC event with one of my couple of guys from my gym and stuff like that, and one of the montages was playing. It was just highlight reel knockouts. I just looked over at him. I was like, what did you notice about that? He's like, I don't know. That shit was cool.
I was in it 3 times.
I was like, everybody that was in that fucking highlight video was in that highlight video.
Yeah.
I was like, you better be willing to, because there's going to be plenty of great moments, but there's going to be some shitty ones too.
Yeah, that's true.
And at the moment you forget that, that's the moment it happens.
Yeah, it was like Ben Rothwell.
Yeah.
He had a big fight, at what was that, Knucklemania?
Yeah.
And man, I was super excited about it. Totally, underwhelmed with the injury.
Yeah.
God, man, you cannot train for that, right? And that's going to be a highlight that he's going to have to overcome for a long time, right? That's challenging, but he's an incredible fighter. I was hoping he's going to stomp that dude like a mud hole. Now, you're defending the belt,
Alberto Blas.
What are you thinking?
He's a young, dangerous kid. He's got a bunch of finishes, but he hasn't fought this level of competition yet.
Yeah.
The big thing is in my opinion, he hasn't really even been in a bare knuckle fight yet.
Yeah. Don't hold back, man. Talk shit, dude.
Here's the thing, you've got to there's a difference between bullying somebody around and being in there with somebody that is a true fucking fighter.
Right.
I hit hard, I hit often, but I'm also willing to take a shot to give 3.
Yeah.
He hasn't fought anybody at my level, and we're gonna see how quick he folds when he feels that pressure, when he feels that power.
What's his record right now?
Right now he's 4-0 in the BKFC.
Okay. So it's good
Yeah,
Good
yeah,
pairing.
like, somebody's losing an O.
Yeah, yeah.
But
not gonna be this guy.
It ain't this guy. Like, you know, like I don't think he's willing to, like I said, like you're gonna have to kill me to take that fucking thing away from me. Like I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it consciously. I'm like, and I don't think he's got the skill, and I definitely know he doesn't have the will to outwork me on there.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like he's not taking that shit.
Now, are you watching like previous fights to exploit weaknesses and
Yeah.
things of that nature?
Yeah, like definitely like definitely me and my coaching staff. We've done a breakdown. Like we've watched watched videos. Like even watched like some of the videos like of his previous combat. Like he's got a little MMA background and a boxing background. He actually fought on one of my undercards.
Oh, wow.
On a boxing match where he got overwhelmed and started shooting double legs on the guy.
Yeah, yeah.
I got DQ'd.
Wow.
Like that in itself tells me a little bit about a mindset. Like where you like where you're getting overwhelmed, where you just decide to cheat to get out of it.
Yeah, yeah. Ooh. Yikes.
So like I think like we'll see if he breaks mentally again.
Yeah. Do you ever get offended by trash talk?
Not really. Like it's not something that I usually engage in.
Yeah.
Like we're about to fight.
Yeah.
Like you're about to try to hurt me physically. What do you think you're gonna say that's gonna hurt my feelings? Like, and especially especially some of the guys like they do start getting a little ridiculous with some of the shit. Like and here's the thing, like I'm a big believer in authenticity. Yeah, are there people out there I don't like personally? Yeah. So like if it like I don't think we've got to manufacture like this beef like if it's not there.
Yeah.
If it's there, it can be entertaining.
Yeah.
But I'm not a big fan of trying to manufacture like especially like we're gonna fight anyway. Like,
Right.
Like it doesn't matter if I hate you. Like there's only been a couple of fights where like I've literally did not like the guy that I fought, and those were in MMA, and it did not go very well for the guy. Like like he had broken body parts by the end of it. Like I don't, but typically like I don't like to. I like to keep myself controlled. I don't want to tap into that side of my like once you've crossed that line, it gets easier and easier to cross it every time.
Oh yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
let's say once you've taken human life, it's.
Did you ever listen to the interview? I forget who was interviewing Mike Tyson, but the interview that he was talking about like he was so terrified that he was going to kill somebody.
Yeah.
Like that was the most harrowing interview. And man, I love Mike Tyson. It is like he is one of the most iconic boxers of all time, right? He was a savage, right? I've read so much about the guy.
He was born in the wrong time period.
It was a wrong time period, but more importantly, I think from Don King and all the people that are surrounding him, they abused him.
Yeah,
right?
especially once what's his name? His old
Oh yeah, the old his old cat that was running around.
Once he was gone,
it was so like you get that right, and then you're talking about like man, like you're a guy that's in bare knuckle boxing and you've taken life, right? This is that's pretty exciting. Like how do you keep yourself, from going to the point of like, okay, it's round 3. I'm amped. I'm geared up, and I want to murder this motherfucker. How do you keep yourself from doing that?
Like that's the thing. Like I know I function better. Fucking cool, calm, collected killer.
Yeah.
Like even when we were out there, like I didn't hate the enemy.
Right.
Like it was just.
His business.
Yeah, it was business's mindset. It was competition to me. Like in a fucked up way. Like, you know, it was just like, all right, it's me versus, like, it's us versus them. Freaking, like, I'm already, like, so I don't want to surrender to the adrenaline and stuff like that. I want to ride the wave.
Yeah.
So I can control it. Like,
that's great.
Like that's a great way to stay like in control. Keep your keep your wits about you. Like, you know, because I don't want to fight. Like, I don't want to be a berserker. I want to be, like, you know, serial killer about it. Like, I just want to
calculated.
Like, yeah, I want to be calculated. Like, you know, when you look at, like, when you watch a lot of my fights, like, you know, you can see how I'm just hunting.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, you know, I want a predatory mindset where, like, I'm gonna be amped, but I'm thinking and I'm watching and I'm waiting and I'm ready to jump on the opportunities as they present themselves.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you know, and the more you're in situations like that, I've been in some sort of fighting my entire life, so it's very easy for me to stay in that mindset. Like, you know, like, that's one of the things, like, you know, fight IQ and you know, experience. Like, there are a few fighters out there that have more.
Yeah. Do you ever feel yourself reaching into the cauldron to draw from it when you need it?
Oh, absolutely. Like, yeah, like, you know, especially, like, you know, when you're tired, you're hurting and stuff like that. Like, you know, there's always that extra little shit back there. Like, how I remember one of my best friends, big old redneck named Hater. He was actually cornering me for one of my early fights. You know, I was in Georgia at the time, and first round I came out a little lax and stuff like that, and, you know, I get back to the corner and he just looks at me and goes, "You're letting the whole fucking Marine Corps down."
Oh boy!
Like,
oh boy!
Like, if I didn't go out, like, I was like, what? I was like, what'd you say? Like, I went out there and beat the dog piss out of that guy for the rest of the fight.
Right. That's crazy. I mean, it's again, those things.
He knew what buttons. He knew what buttons to push. Like, you know, he wouldn't even he didn't even serve. Like, but he knew exactly what button to push with me.
Oh man, I would love to see that fight. Well, you know, Alberto Blas got a big fight coming up against you, so I'm excited to see it. 4-0, both of these fighters. You know, but severe. You know, obviously, there's only one victor. Now, you know, how long you've been holder of the belt? You've been champ for how
long? About 8 months. Like, this will actually be my first defense, though. Like, you know, I've been chomping at the bit. Like, you know, I got to be so active last year, and now I've just been waiting for somebody to step up.
Yeah. Now, did he challenge you, or how does that work? Is it they're putting the cards?
I ain't challenging anybody. Like, you know, they can line up. Like, that's one of the benefits of holding that. Like, you know, like, it's nice. Like, I get people that don't even speak English, like, talking shit about me now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's like da 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 da. Keith Richardson. Da 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 da. I'm like, all right, well, let me Google Translate. And, like, you know, I got people in different, like, in other languages, like, you know, calling out my name. So
yeah. So how does that work? Like, if someone's calling you out and they feel like they can take the title from you, but they're not a bare knuckle fighter, do they just reach out to the organization like, I want to fight Keith?
No, like you gotta have, like, you know, like, there's got, like, I'm only taking legitimate, like, content, like, like they've got to earn their spot. Like, I'm not gonna be out there fighting, like, Joe Blow from the bar. Like, you know, like, I'm fighting, like, the top fighter.
That's
like,
Fight Club.
Yeah, like, you know, I'm the top bare knuckle boxer at my weight class in the world. Like, you know, I'm fighting guys that are 2 and 3, and, like, you know, I'm taking on the guys that, like, you know, actually have the credentials to be a challenge. Like, especially because, like, you know, that's anytime I've had a bad performance, it's because, like, like even when I've won, but it just wasn't like. It's because I haven't been motivated. Like I wasn't motivated by I've always liked being like an underdog because like it's easy. Like that's why and I think that's like most champs because it's easier to get it than it is to hold it.
Sure. Yeah. Well, there's no expectations either, right? Nobody's putting expectations on you. Like you know, you're like, oh, okay, I got a clear path here.
The more dangerous the opponent, the harder I'm going to train for it. The better, the better I'm going to come out. Like,
who do you think is somebody that has somebody that you have an eye on that could be somebody that takes the belt from you?
I don't see anybody taking it. But I see challenge, because that's why I got into this thing, was to challenge myself.
Yeah.
There's a couple of guys that definitely have a legit claim, like Ryan Reber. I've been waiting on him to take it, take a shot at it. Me and him are good friends, but that gets pushed aside for a little while, and I dent his face, and then he's 6-0 right now. There's a couple of guys outside the organ, there's a couple of UFC guys that I wouldn't mind seeing step in and take a swing at me.
Yeah. Like if you had a dream match, who do you want to fight? Look into the camera and be like, "Listen, bitch, I want you."
I'm gonna have to think about that. Dream match would probably be if I want a good challenge, I want to throw down with Chesty.
Oh, hey, right on. It's like 30-year-old Chesty or 60-year-old Chesty.
Honestly, I think 60-year-old Chesty's a little more dangerous than 30-year-old Chesty.
I would agree.
There's
a lot more years of wisdom there.
Honestly, I don't know how I come out from that one, but it'd be. I think he would respect it. Plus, how often do you get a chance to punch an officer?
Yeah, right. Oh, that'd be great.
Especially that higher rank, even though he's a personal idol and an icon, that's who you want to fight. You want to fight an icon,
right? So, yeah, you want to. Yeah, absolutely. So right now, let's see. Mike Perry is the king of violence, right? Holds the belt for the king of violence. You see yourself ever trying to make a run for that belt? Because how does that work? That's not restricted to any class, right?
It's not really. I think they need to start finalize and I've actually proposed some stuff to them as far as refining that a little bit.
Yeah.
Not sure if I want. I would hate to put a lot of pressure on Feldman or something like that. But I actually have some good ideas for what they can do with that king of violence.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Honestly, I think they should kind of they should do it kind of how they do Knucklemania a year.
Yeah.
I think they should be a king of violence event where they do
a tournament.
Kind of they do the tournament voting, and they don't restrict it to a weight class, but they'll pick fighters that they want to put up for it, let the fans vote on it, and they do a king of violence fight as the main event fight for it every year.
Yeah.
And then that guy gets to be the king of violence for a year.
Yeah.
Instead of just arbitrarily saying because I think, and I know why they're kind of doing it because Perry's super popular.
Yep.
Freaking he's a dog. And he's the biggest guy in the organization right now.
Do you think you can take him?
What?
Do you think you can take him?
I think I can take anybody.
I love it.
That's the mindset.
Keith, that's why I love you, man.
If you don't have that mindset, I probably have to. We probably have to go fucking MMA rules or something like that. I'm gonna put his ass down. He's
got a pretty big span, right? What is he at? 72, 73 inches?
It might even be more than that. He's walking around, like, I was fighting at about a 85, but like I've never restricted myself to weight classes when I train, so I'm used to it. But like I'd use my wrestling and go back to my grappling roots on that one.
I would have to imagine that's
tactical decisions.
Yeah,
tactical
that's
decisions.
close quarters, man.
Yeah, like get inside where I got some advantages.
Yeah, and I understand that they're going to be doing a Queen of Violence now. The BKFC Queen of Violence. That's going to be interesting. I think the biggest what grabbed my attention out of BKFC, and I forget her name. But it was the most fantastic promo I've ever seen in my life, where her face looks like hamburger, like the biggest like blueberry on her eyeball that I've ever seen. She's got a couple missing teeth, and blood just coming out of her mouth, and she's like, "I think I may have bit off more than I can chew." And at that point, I was hooked. Right, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is the coolest thing ever." And since that, and we've been involved with the BKFC. Every aspect of my desires has been achieved. Because when you're there at the arena ringside and you hear that first crack of a fist against someone's face, like for the next 3.5 hours or however long these events are, you know that you're in for some pure entertainment for that evening, and they don't disappoint. Yeah,
bare fist against skull and flesh sounds different. Even then MMA, like it just hits different.
It's different. It's different. I love it. Let's see, man. So you got that fight. This fight's coming up June 21st, Hollywood, Florida. It's an important day for you for many aspects. You're defending your title, but it's also a very important day from your military time. Please share with us.
Yeah. June 21st is the day that I lost one of my Marines. I was Victor. I was a vehicle commander, and I lost one of my Marines underneath me due to sniper fire. Nicholas J. White. And he was big reason why I do what I do. It was basically one of those situations where like he practically gave his life for mine. So it's one of the big reasons why I always keep pushing. I always keep trying to is I want to make sure that their lives meant something. Their sacrifice for me. Yep. I want to do something that makes them proud. Me and my guys, we have a reunion every year. I think we're one of few units that probably does that. I think it was just because of how rough we had it out there. But that's June 21st was the day that we lost him. It was 2 days, a day or two before his birthday too. Yeah. It was going to be his 21st birthday. Never even got to legally drink a beer. I'm not gonna say you never fucking drank a beer, but
right.
But it was so. It's always been a day that I remember. It's always been a day that that I hold close to my heart. I'm still in contact with his family, his younger brothers, somebody that I consider one of my brothers.
Yeah. They come out to watch you fight?
I don't know. I'm gonna hit them up, see if they can make it out. Still live in New York.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a trek, but I remember visiting them after we got back and stuff like that, and they we definitely cooked me some good food, from Jamaican descent, so some jerk chicken and some monkey bread. So, it's been a little while since I've gotten to see a bunch of them. They've come to the reunions before, but
it's tough, man. We were talking earlier, some of the greatest achievements were leading Marines in combat, but some of the biggest loss is losing a Marine under your own command. I could certainly appreciate that.
I think more than anything, that was probably the reason why I got out. Because that last, especially because I spent about 2.5 years in the Middle East in my first enlistment. I was a little like, you know, I was burnt out, especially that last tour. Like, you know, and Ramadi was just.
Yeah. People forget the tempo of the Marine Corps during 2003 through 2006.
Yeah.
It was rowdy, man. It was rowdy.
Yeah.
But a lot of good work was being done. Lost a lot of great Marines. And like you, my friend, that's what we are here to do with what we do with Grunt Style, is to make sure that those people are never forgotten, and that they live on forever, and we continue to make them proud of the things that we're doing for our community today, and elevating veterans like yourself, and showing this great country that veterans bring a lot to the equation, to entertainment, to business, to all things interesting, right? And I find it to be a little bit serendipitous that this fight's happening on that day, and I'm going to be there cheering for you, and I hope that you walk away a victor on this one, and your Marine brother is looking down with a bright smile and saying, "I knew that guy would kick his ass." But so, what are some other big things that you got coming down the pike, man? That anything else?
Yeah, just business as usual, Modern Warrior, MMA. That's the name of my gym. Like, I've got a bunch of up-and-coming killers that are just crushing it.
Where can people find your gym?
Modern Warrior MMA on Instagram, modernwarriormma.com. We're right here. We're right in Rock Hill, South Carolina, just south of Charlotte. We've got some great fighters coming out of the gym, future bare knuckle champ Taylor Starling.
Yeah, that's great.
Got a bunch of up and coming MMA killers: D. Reddick, Isaac Barahona, Pedro, Snyder. I've got a bunch of young kids that I love punching in the face and choking out and
make it better.
Like, sometimes I don't even care if it makes them better. Sometimes I'm just working through the day.
Amen.
I just got something I got to get out. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I love it. Before we get out of here, there's one story that I would be remiss if I didn't ask. Where did the name Rockstar, the Rockstar, come from?
Yeah, it was not initially what I was what my coach at the time was trying to give me, but it wound up I think it was after my first or second amateur fight. I've always been a fan of music. I always said wish I was like a musician. Plus, my name Keith Richards.
Yeah, right.
Keith Richardson. And I used to roadie for my cousin's band a little bit, but I have very little musical talent at all. So that's why I punch people. But really, the name came about. It was after it was one of my amateur fights, and after the fight, I won. I think I finished guy in first round or second round. A attractive, big-tittied woman came up and asked me to sign her tits, and just bah.
Right.
So, of course, I obliged. But after that, freaking, you're a fucking rock star, dude, and it just stuck since then, and so it's always been Keith the Rockstar Richardson after that.
There you go.
Yeah, just signing some jugs.
Oh, there you go, signing the jugs. Well, ladies, if you want to get the jug signed, you're going to want to get down to Hollywood, Florida.
Luckily, I'm single now. Actually, I wasn't at the time. The girl found out, and I got in trouble.
Well, Keith, if I had a pair of jugs, I'd let you sign them. You're going to want to get down to Hollywood, Florida, June 21st, ladies and gentlemen. Bare knuckle fighting. What BKFC fight is this?
62.
62. BKFC number 62. If you can't make it down, you can get it on the app. You can get the pay-per-view right there on your device or anything that you consume your content on. Make sure you get it, because this is going to be a great fight. We got two fighters, 4-0. We got our champ right here, Keith Richardson. And then we got the challenger, Alberto Blas. I think it's going to be a fantastic fight. I look forward to being there. I look forward to cheering you on. And if you need a good cut, man, I don't know any, but I'm a fast learner, and I'll be there in your corner, Keith. And thank you very much for joining us, and thank you all for listening to the show. And you know the drill. We'll see you again soon. Wash those stinking hands and be kind to one another. We'll see you again soon.